That's a good idea.
What's up? Yep. All right, let's get started. Minutes from the October 11th meeting. And motion to approve. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Okay, Sue. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Budget report is attached. We had on the revenue side, the payment we finally received from Nexus for the our legal fees, as well as the additional $1,000 payment that was due us per the lease agreement. Some investment earnings on the revenue side. On the expenditure side, we have salary, unemployment, our quarterly tax returns. The payment for our legal fees for Nexus is shown down there as an expense. And then we had expenses out at Tryon, which mostly were payment to National Grid for the work on the gas line that they are going to be installing to the generator out at the pump station. And then we had an insurance bill, our semi-annual insurance bill, which we paid. And the last one was the $179 payment for electricity, which is the last payment that we will be making for that. So, and as Todd, well, I take that back. There was a mistake on the revenue side. It shouldn't. Is that where it is? Yeah, it shouldn't. That revenue, total revenues is not 27,165. It's some lesser number. So that's it for the budget report. Any questions on that?
Make a motion to accept it.
Joe makes a motion to accept. Anyone second that? Greg? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And anyone opposed? All right. Committee reports, audit committee. Joe, you looked at the bank reconciliations?
Yes, I did. They are all in order.
Very good.
Signing off right now.
County reports. Jack, anything to report from the Board of Supervisors?
Yeah, I will talk briefly about the Chamber of Commerce and the issue that we had there. It was something that we had been working on for a couple of years behind the scenes, and it was not something that was entered into lightly. There was a lot of thought went into it, but we are on the mend, I think, now and beginning to go forward. And the Chamber, by all means, is not out of the loop with any funding from the county. There still will be interaction between the county and the Chamber financially, so it's all good.
Very good. Any questions for Jack?
That's why I'm wearing this. I've got my annual fall cold.
Join
I
the club.
tested myself 3 times before I came here today to make sure it was a cold.
All right.
But still, I just.
Warren, anything to offer from the CRG? That your report is attached.
Yeah, I'm a poor substitute for Terry Easterly today. He couldn't make it.
Okay.
Yeah, nobody else could either, so here I am. In any event, Ron, several things here. Ron recently attended the New York State Innovation Summit in Buffalo. Found it to be worthwhile. He's hoping to bring some things back, some ideas back. CRG received several new business inquiries. One is a startup, and the other is looking to build a warehouse, an existing warehouse. I'm skipping down here, the ones that I took note on. CRG is currently meeting with small businesses to judge interest in submitting consolidated funding application for either a capital project or a Restore New York grant. It's kind of a hot topic now recently in Fulton County is Kroger Lake. There seems to be a lot happening in Kroger Lake, and so CRG is continuing to look into some opportunities there. And also the city of Gloversville recently conducted their second brownfield opportunity area and had an open house and identified 26 potential projects. So those are also being looked at by CRG. That's all that I have right now. I was also gonna mention, you know, the thing that Jack talked about. I didn't realize Jack would be here today, but, you know, the Chamber of Commerce.
Any questions for Warren?
Yeah, Warren?
Yeah.
And at the risk of, I know you can't share a lot of detail,
Right.
but with the opportunities in Caroga Lake, can you loosely define what those opportunities might look like? Are they retail, manufacturing, residential,
I
tourism?
would say more retail. I wouldn't say manufacturing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Some of the things I think are gonna spring up around the whole arts
Yeah,
community up there, some of the things that are being looked at.
gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
One other question is, anything ever come about the glove company that was gonna sew, bring in a sewing operation? Is that, I don't see anything there.
I don't know any details on that. I know it's not dead, but it seems to be taking a long time to get that done, so I'm not really sure.
Yeah, this is the first month that hasn't been on.
That was really been on the table for quite a while.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
You know, but you know what, I'll go back and I'll mention to Ron that was a question, and maybe we can send something over to be more specific, okay?
Very good, thanks, Warren.
Okay,
Moving on to old business, the site inventory report. Ron, John, Scott and I met. We looked at some of the sites that were identified in that report, come up with some suggestions. Those will be brought back to another meeting of the full site committee here shortly. So that process is moving along. The Nexus Renewables, as I mentioned, they sent back the check along with the amendment that we had approved at a previous meeting to extend the option term through June 25th of 2023. So that project is still alive and ready to move forward, I think, next year. Vireo Health.
That will, is in our budget. How much will that hopefully bring in for rent again?
The rent was $39,000 a year.
Very good.
Okay.
All right.
With Vireo Health, as we had been talking about for the better part of a year now, Verano Holdings, a company based in Chicago, was attempting to purchase Vireo Health for a variety of reasons. Verano has terminated that effort and is no longer in the process of trying to acquire Vireo Health. As a result, Vireo is going to continue on its own to complete the project that's ongoing out at Tryon right now. As part of that, we are getting closer, I think, to resolving getting the lease and pilot executed. I spoke with Andy Roush yesterday, advised him that we need to have that done by December 15th. That was kind of my arbitrary deadline. Kara, Andy, and the counsel for IIP, who is the company that's actually financing the project, are going to be conferencing this Friday in hopes of trying to move that process along. So, Winstanley, we will discuss in executive, if that's okay. With Fulton County Sewer District number 4, the backup generator project, we're still waiting for the generator to be delivered. National Grid contacted us yesterday. They are looking to install the gas line either late this week or early next week. And we're coordinating with Koval right now to because they need to get out there and mark where the generator is going so that Grid knows where to bring the line to. The transfer of the land to the district, we sent all the executed documents to Jason for the chairman to sign, and once those are signed, Jason will file those in the county clerk's office and provide a copy back to us. that's kind of where we stand with that project. Next item are treasury bills. The first one is set to expire next week. And the original plan was to, as each of these 3-month term bills expired, was look to renew those for 1 year, so that we had 1-year bills, in terms of maximizing what rate we can get. As you can see, when we first invested these back in August, the 12-month treasury bill was paying 3.18%. Today, or excuse me, as of last week, when we got that information, the 12-month bill was now up to 4.25%. Yes, so if everybody's okay with continuing with that plan, I would ask for a motion to authorize reinvesting our first 3-month T-bill into a 12-month T-bill. Dave?
Second.
Todd? Any further discussion?
Jim, should I excuse myself from this vote?
Yes. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We have 1 abstention. Okay. Our labor market analysis update. We received the draft document, which I've shown you here. Gone through and made a number of comments and sent those back to DC Corbin to address. I also sent the report to the CRG and to Winstanley to review. And if they have any comments, I will be sending those to DCG Corcoran also. A key component of the report was defining the labor market area. DCG Corcoran is defining it as a 45-minute commute. They used zip code tabulation areas as the basis for collecting information on what our labor market area consists of. And shown at the bottom of page 4 and the top of page 5 is a kind of summary description of our labor market area. It contains a lot of information, but you look in terms of median household income of almost $65,000, a median age of about 41, a labor participation rate of 63.4%, so forth and so on. So just to give you a sample of the type of information that is going to be in this report, as well as there's going to be a lot of additional information that's in there. So moving along, I would hope to have the final report available and completed by the time our next meeting in December.
Jim, just a question, and you probably don't know the answer. I see the population within a 45-minute
Yep.
commute was 623,000.
Yep.
So,
That 45-minute drive gets you down into Schenectady, a lot of Saratoga, a lot of Albany. Okay, so that's where you.
anything to you out west? to you?
It doesn't quite get to Utica, no. Nope. All right. All right, last item under new business. In lieu of sending these out every year, like I usually do, I've got a captive audience here. None of you can leave until you've completed your homework. So, so you don't have to rip the agenda apart, I'm going to ask you to fill these out. So this is the annual board performance questionnaire. Should be an extra in there. The intent is to for you to self-analyze. Don't put your name on them. This is all anonymous. But if you would go through each of these and provide your response, whether you agree, somewhat disagree, or disagree with respect to each of those criteria.
Also, I know, Dave, you have to leave, but possibly if Sue and Greg have a few minutes, we can start talking about nominating committee for the officers for next year. Mike, you're obviously on the line already to be the chairman, so that position's already solved, but we'll talk a little bit about that if you guys have a few minutes, and Dave, I can get back to you as to.
Okay.
We talked about them. Let's try and get some decisions done on that.
Okay, thank you, Joe.
Don't get to vote today, guys.
Already have.
Yeah.
I'm on a vote early and often.
Yeah, that's what I do.
I vote in person, you vote via absentee ballot, you stuff all five, so you can probably do ways. Please, thank you. Joe?
Probably recognize my check marks. I just sign it, you know.
Oblivious to it all.
I was.
Okay, right over the camera.
Yep, tabulate, put it together. Again, this is mandated by the state, you know, and so that's the only reason we're doing this.
Plus, it's a good checklist to see how
Yep.
our board feels, how things are going. What we accomplish. So,
Just waiting for Mike to finish up.
I didn't have a pen.
Blood works too.
yeah, kind of okay.
Thank you, Mike.
You're welcome.
Okay. With that, I'd like to ask for a motion to go into executive sessions for the reasons stated on the agenda.
I'll make a motion.
Sue, is there a second to that? Mike? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We're going into executive session at 8:17 a.m.
Feel
Executive. Greg, Sue, vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We're at 9:23 a.m., okay? Okay, back to old business under Win Stanley. Looking for a motion to authorize the chairman to execute an amendment to the purchase and sale agreement to decrease the purchase price from $5.8 million to $3,975,880 as a credit back to Win Stanley for the cost of abatement and demolition of the buildings on the property.
Make that motion.
Joe?
Second?
Seconded by Joe. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Asking for a second motion to authorize council to send an amended 90-day notice letter to the state advising of the change in the purchase price as a credit.
I'll make that motion.
Mike, is there a second to that?
In the letter will be the reason why.
Yeah, we'll put
Okay.
that, yeah, leave that modification.
I'll take that as a second.
Yes. Wasn't there a second?
It's
I
you.
thought we were open for discussion.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Good second.
Lastly, to authorize the chairman or vice chairman to execute a deed and transfer documents to transfer title of the 242 acres at Tryon to Win Stanley Enterprises. Greg? Is there a second to that motion? Mike? point of clarification, the original purchase and sale agreement identified 236 acres as the total, based upon, you know, the information that existed at the time. The actual boundary line survey that they did came out to about 242. So the actual transfer is going to be about 242 acres. Okay. We have a motion and a second. Is there any other questions or discussion?
We don't have to have a motion to apply for grants for asbestos?
Not yet.
Okay.
Until we know we're going to, Joe, we'll just hold on that. Okay?
Yeah, and usually they want something particular to theirs,
right.
so.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Any further discussion or issues for discussion here at today's meeting?
So going back to what Joe had just said, do we have to put verbiage? We will put verbiage in our.
I will,
contract
relative to the grants, yes.
If we can
I
possibly
will
get them.
email Adam when we're done and advise him of that and ask him to revise.
And
accordingly.
the contingency fund.
That's in here.
All right, that's all right.
That's already in here, so.
Okay.
All right, our next meeting is Tuesday, December 13th. Motion to close?
Sure.
Sue always gets the final word.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion is approved. We are closed at 9:26 a.m.
Good seeing everyone.
Very good.